Family, uh, I usually use the agenda.
Sorry, that's my fault. I'll have to make a different template for this meeting so it doesn't happen again.
No worries. All right. I think we can call to order. So can we go ahead and get roll call? Oh, well, let me introduce. This is Bridge of the Gods Centennial Celebration Committee Subcommittee meeting, our advisory committee meeting. It's March 27th, 5:35 p.m. So Carrie Ann, can you do roll call, please?
Sure. Community Chair Clute,
Here.
Vice Chair Peterson is excused. Community Member Berge,
Here.
Community Member Crane,
Here.
Community Member Palermo is excused, and Community Member Stippen.
Here.
All right.
Do you want me to share the agenda?
I'm looking at it, but you can share it if you want. So the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for advisory committee meeting on February 27th, 2025, which are attached in the packet. If you've had a chance to review them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. John, I didn't hear your approval.
Aye, I said, but I didn't hear. Anybody impose? No, never mind.
Anybody oppose? All right. Meeting minutes pass. All right, discussions. I guess we'll go around the room. Janice, we'll start with you. I know you had some updates from the last meeting. Were you able to get any further with Artist Langquist?
Yeah. So Artist Langquist, Paul Langquist, has gone ahead and submitted his first invoice to the port.
Okay.
He was on vacation from March 15th through, I think, the end of the month. He was visiting some grandchildren that lived out of state, and he's going to get in touch to schedule when to come out after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get to discuss a little further with him the parameters of the project, and we were talking about perhaps doing it as a like a raster image so that it would be more able to be used on more products.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, depending on how crazy flexible we wanted it to be, or if it was going to need to be redesigned, there might be additional costs to getting it like customized to go on different size products. But that he could discuss that when he meets with us in person.
Okay.
And yeah, and then while I'm going, I'll just finish. I got to attend the Oregon Media Marketplace this week, which is a Travel Oregon event where they bring out national media coverage to Oregon, and then they have representatives from each of the regions come and meet with the media in Portland. And we got to talk a little bit about the upcoming Centennial. And I've gotten some business cards from a couple of different news outlets that are interested in covering it, that are like adventure writers and travel writers. So when we're ready to make the formal press release and do the real announcement, we have a pretty good list going of who to talk to.
Sounds great. Awesome. Any other updates from you?
I guess the only thing that's on my plate still would be the grant application for the exhibit, and we haven't heard back yet.
Okay. Excellent. Brittany, any updates on your side?
I do not have any updates, but if anybody has tasks for me, I would gladly take some on.
All right. Perfect. We can discuss that in a moment. John, any updates on your end?
Other than forwarding on the Tidewater and the Shaver people, the PR people that got back to me with phone calls, and I believe I forwarded them all to, I thought maybe Carrie, but also to Jeremiah. So then I didn't hear that they were received, but I could always re-forward those if needed if they have not been received.
I'll check my email and see, and I can reach out to you if I haven't received them.
Okay, yeah, because they sounded like we're all going to be there and want to set up their own booths, and they want to know more. And they're, like they said the last time, that they were going to try to put it in their budget for 2026, which meant giving us money.
Right.
Cool.
Perfect. All right. So I think as far as future tasks, so that we can keep things rolling, I want to put together a task list of what needs to get done, and kind of divide it out about what can we do as a, from the port perspective, what can the port take on as far as like booking things and stuff like that, like the porta potties and the getting food trucks out and stuff like that. What can the port coordinate versus what would we need to hire somebody to help coordinate, and kind of separate out those tasks into separate tabs or whatever. So Brittany, what I would probably ask of you, and probably everybody on the call, once I put together a preliminary list, I can send it out and then have you guys add your inputs and thoughts, and, just maybe have like a living document that we can build off of, so that we can start getting organized and really like narrowing down what we want to see, and what's feasible, and like put actionable tasks to them.
And probably write down a timeline of when those are to be completed by a certain date.
Right, for sure.
Cool.
So I will take on the initial task of creating the document, the living document, and get it sent out to everybody. So I will spend the next week doing that. And hopefully by this time next week can have something over to you guys for your review. And then we can start using that as kind of the what we want for the meeting going forward, to kind of guide us. So I think that will put us in the right direction, at least. Cool. So before we schedule the next meeting, are there any other topics that we want to discuss today?
I would say that I received your email. I want to say it was either Saturday or Sunday, about coming up with some of my own ideas or that's what you asked, that everyone would come up with something to present it, if I'm not mistaken, in the way that we would think that perhaps it would be going. But I haven't had any time at all to do that. But in my mind, I keep thinking of the state of Oregon. I keep thinking of the politicians that might want to coattail on this. Fun, to see that, and maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it would be fun, but I think it would be also the Historical Society, the Oregon Historical Society, and those kind of big names where they, it's a big piece of history for the gorge.
Absolutely. And we can add a tab on to, I assume everybody here has access to Excel.
Yes.
Just making sure that if I've created an Excel, everybody will be able to read it, once I upload it into like the cloud. Cool. So, or maybe there's a place on like the port website we can store it that everybody can access. I don't know where you guys do shared documents. I can talk to you offline, Carrie Ann, about the best place to put it where we can access it.
Yeah, I mean, I can upload it and still not have it made public to, like, or not have a link or the address made public so that
Right.
we can access it. So, yeah, that'll work.
Be good.
I also didn't have an opportunity to really work out a schedule yet.
No, I will apologize for that because Jeremiah and I thought about it last minute, so I kind of expected.
Yeah, I haven't either. So that's what I think that this spreadsheet.
Everyone has homework.
We do. We'll spend this before the next meeting. We'll have a really good, I think, task list built with schedule and everything so that we can start rolling with what we think is going to be, you know, at least just start making forward progress. I mean, we have time, but we also don't want to like wait till the last minute to get a lot of this stuff done. So
What about, we had talked about this, for the last maybe 6, 7, 8 years, right? Is the LED lights on the Bridge of the Gods. And I think that'd be wonderful to see if we get them put on the bridge to light up for the event each night. We could light different colors, those kind of things. And Jeremiah really thought it was going to be a great idea. I think a lot of people would love to see that. And I think it would just make it's like, getting a birthday gift. We can give the bridge a gift for its birthday of some lights.
I think it really depends on what our budget is and what we have the ability to do for that. So I'll ask Genevieve because I think it was something she was looking into. So during our next port meeting, I can bring it up.
I think that's also going to have to go before like the Gorge Commission, right? They've been fighting putting lights inside of the Mitchell Tunnel. So like lighting up a bridge might be something that they have an opinion about.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the other ideas we were doing, tossing around was getting that really fancy Bridge of the Gods sign. The Welcome to Oregon, Welcome to Washington sign built. So
Yes.
that was just put up as more of a temporary thing. And then we invest some money on getting a really nice sign and doing the unveiling during the Centennial celebration.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
with the bridge lights, I think there'd probably be restrictions with FAA too. Like, we have like specific lights on the bridge that are for air navigation stuff. So I don't know if that would be.
I don't know how other cities get around that with having, maybe because they have multiple bridges and they light one of their bridges up or something.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen really cool lit up bridges.
Be awesome to do.
And most big cities are doing that for all their buildings too, all over the world.
Do like just for the weekend, get some kind of company to get those underlights, big spotlights that are rainbow colored to go under the bridge and light up the bridge for the weekend or something. I don't know if something like that would cost, but
spotlights even, those.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Something, even if it's just temporary, it would be pretty cool. So I think that's something we could definitely look into.
Get a temporary permit from the airplane people and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I'll add it to the task list. I'll have separate sections of things that are solid that we're moving forward on, things that are kind of TBD that we're still exploring, and then the section of items that can be handled by the port versus who we want to hire, where I think we need to get Rob on this call hopefully next month so we can pull the person from the PCT days in again. Apparently I'm really terrible
Carrie,
with
I know that Rob had signed up to do that, but if he's got limited capacity, I also talk to Jason pretty regularly.
Oh, well, yeah, if you want to follow up with him, I think maybe it's still too early yet. Once we come up with a list of tasks that we think
for sure
to hire somebody for, then that's when we get him on and be like, hey, this is what we're thinking. Is this something that you'd be able to do and you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, totally. I just was like looking ahead.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm glad you also have that rapport with him to be able to do that. Cool. So next meeting, we're looking at, oops, sorry, I'm trying to find my calendar. April, currently It would, for me, it would have to be, if we're sticking with Thursdays, it would either have to be the 17th of April or the 1st of May, because that I'll be out of town during the that 1 week.
I can do either of those.
I'm free on the 17th.
Does that give us enough time to build out the task list and have everybody review and add their inputs?
It should.
It should, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, so I guess April 17th will be our next meeting.
Wonderful. 5:30.
5:30.
Okay, it's in my calendar.
All right, cool. Well, this was a relatively short meeting, but I think next meeting we'll be prepared to talk about a lot of stuff.
Before we end, I'm gonna give a quick update on the bridge mural.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremiah spoke to the city council about it. They haven't made any decisions, but Brittany, you might remember seeing your name in some of the correspondence, but I guess in 2016, the city tried to pursue a restoration. We didn't get funding for it, but quotes back from restoration artists averaged about 18,000. And I think the port followed up with another attempt in 2018, and estimated costs were pushing 30,000.
Oh my gosh.
So that's kind of just where we're at.
Carrie Ann, I was at that city council meeting that Jeremiah spoke to, and the council said they were good with us starting to talk to the community about it.
Okay.
Regardless, like of if I doubt they're funding anything, but
But I think it's a matter of whether we restore it or paint over it and do
Right.
something totally new.
what are the priorities? That they were open to the to people talking about it. Like,
Are these reaching out? Okay, perfect. Thanks, Janice.
Yeah, we'll have to, I think that's a good, let's get move forward with getting community input. Because I'm good with either idea. I think painting a mural that size versus restoring it is probably going to be, I don't know what the price difference is. I think it would be good to know what that kind of price difference is as well.
I'll look into it. Or Brittany, do you have any thoughts?
I was gonna say, as far as like the grants that I looked into in the past, like I would say there's more grant opportunities for new murals versus existing art pieces, like restoring existing art pieces. That was just my experience. Janice, you are the grant girl though. So
I have also seen a lot more funding opportunities for new projects versus restoration projects.
Yeah. So even though like I think that restoring could potentially be cheaper, but the grant opportunities for a new mural are probably much more abundant. So if we
And I
could
think also when you're building out your scope of work too, you really need to build in like materials and maintenance, like long term. Like I don't know what that artist painted that mural with, but I feel like if they had done it with exterior paint, it would have lasted longer than it did. Or if there had been budget for protection over the years, there's more that could have been done to like it. I thought that mural was much older than it actually was. I was shocked when I heard how young it was.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever like any sort of a sealant or anything on it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Definitely food for thought.
I would like to see a new mural with 100 years banner, that kind of thing. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Okay.
Have to figure out how to best approach the community with the questions so that we're not really leading them or anything, just present the facts and
what is, I mean, I'm just gonna throw out a crazy idea because it just popped into my head, but could we potentially use Paul A. Lindquist's art as a new mural face?
He's not a mural artist. He's a digital artist, to the best of my knowledge, and he's also retired.
But would he
Like
grant
let
like
us
somebody
use
else?
the images.
Yeah.
Potentially, you could definitely open up that conversation.
We can ask if, as an option for sure. I think it would be cool to feature like actual muralists art though, like somebody who might be local and does murals and that's their thing, and have their own original art on there. But
like most things that going on in Washington D.C., I've been kind of watching that scene, and they do have competitions, and so someone would come up with their original design, and then how many people submit the design.
that's not
And
yeah.
I'm just saying that you call to all artists that are painting murals, and if you'd like to do this, and if the city says no, we want to redo this mural, then come up with the 30 grand to redo it.
Right.
But I want to have by having something really pretty. I mean,
But I think having that as an option to the city, if we're putting the question out, do we redo it, or do you want to see like a contest of the options that muralists submit, and you guys can vote on the design? I think that would excite the city and bring people together.
it's exciting.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I
feel like if the port's paying for it and the port is like leading the cause, like why would the city get to pick the design?
I don't know, because everybody
Your
lives.
bridge.
We're elected officials for the people of Cascade Locks.
Oh,
Yeah, but like putting it up for the city council, they're also elected officials, right? Like that's.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying the city council gets to vote on it, but put it out a big population vote, like maybe a big Facebook thing or something.
Like a popularity. Okay, my mistake. I misunderstood. I was like, we're talking about budgets, and I assumed it was the council, and I was like, they don't let them pick. It's your bridge.
No, I mean the residents at Cascade Locks to vote, or even the community open it up to the whole community of the gorge to vote on designs. I think that would be super cool.
I think where Shaver or Tidewater or whoever wants to run underneath that bridge might have a chance to say, hey, we'll fund the competition.
Yeah, that would be cool. If you want to follow up with them and see if they'd be interested.
Well, I'm sure they would be.
I don't know how much funding it would take to run a competition, honestly. I mean, you just have to put together the announcement, drum up some marketing, and get people interested in applying. So we have a port meeting on April 15th, isn't it? And so 2 weeks. So I can bring it up. That meeting, I think, is before our next Bridge of the Gods meeting, at least. So I can talk to the commissioners and Jeremiah and stuff and get some input on that. But I think it's a really good idea. And I think it would bring people together and be like an exciting thing for the community. Maybe just say, we've decided that we're going to paint over it, but this is what we're going to do. And you get to choose what the design is.
Yeah.
So something, I don't know. We'll get the feedback in the next port meeting though. You're talking on mute, John.
Yes, I don't think it has anything to do with the integrity of the bridge, but they would definitely have to, if this can be painted over, does it need to be removed before it's painted over? And if it's sandblasted, is that going to affect the materials that it's made out of? And, an engineer is going to have to be a consultant, I would imagine.
Typically, they just paint a blank slate over a mural and for a new one. I've never sandblasted off, but
okay.
Pressure wash and a base coat should be just fine for that. But
yeah, cool. All right, guys.
Cool.
Any go backs or saved rounds? Any additional topics we need to discuss?
live bands. I mean, we need to have some kind of music going through the.
Yeah.
Oh, we
whole-
will. That's going to be on the task list. Don't you worry.
Thank
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll talk again in a few weeks. Have a great night.
Thank you.
I'll get that task list out to you guys later, mid next week.
Carrie Ann, thank you.
Sounds
Jan.
great. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Carrie Ann. Thanks, John. Bye,
Yes,
Brittany.
You all
Thanks,
have a
Brittany.
great night.
Good night.